Hello, friends, and welcome to Much Review About Nothing. And this will be the first episode where we technically review a film that we have already seen. Because normally on this podcast, we review a movie we haven't seen through cultural osmosis and what we can find on the internet. Brothers, help me introduce the podcast.
Long live the king. I'm Jake Greer, and this is...
What'd you do to us?
We're your co-hosts, Jake Greer and...
I came with a joke, and you just ruined
Oh,
it for
sorry.
me. I was going to introduce myself as Luke Greer, a monkey's uncle.
All right, well, you know what you're listening to, and you probably know who does it. So welcome back to Much Review About Nothing. And this time, we're going to be talking about...
I'm Luke, a monkey's uncle.
This time, we're going to be talking about The Lion King 2019.
Just to get this out of the way, I'm a big fan of the original Lion King. Liked it a lot in childhood. I can't remember how I felt about the second one. Like, at least as from a child's perspective at the time, I thought it was okay.
A direct-to-video
I remember
one.
really
Yeah.
being into it. I don't know why exactly.
You like the older teenage crazy brother, but he always
Yeah,
died.
yeah, he
Yeah.
got killed, so it's always tragic.
And then I really enjoyed Lion King 1.5, but...
Yeah, that one was funny, if I remember correctly. I haven't seen that one in ages. But...
I am surprised they decided to do a live-action remake of their 1994 one.
I wanted to talk about that. It's an epidemic. Everyone calls it live action. This was made fully in a computer. There's only one live action shot that the director slipped in. But other than that,
Should we tell Billy that the whole world's basically in a computer, or has he not caught on yet?
is this going to be the third time we reference Jaden Smith?
No, I'm just saying you're complaining that world was made a computer when this one is too. So.
Okay, well that may be so, but
I feel like it was a bit of a miss not to have like actual actors in lion costumes.
yeah, I didn't like the stage play.
I mean,
Everyone likes the stage play.
the problem is that I feel like we would have just gotten a situation like the Cats movie that's going to come out. So,
Yeah.
you know,
We don't talk about that
But
one.
the thing, if you do costumes, it wouldn't be as disturbing. But
yeah, but I mean, like with how it's going, they wouldn't
Yeah.
do costumes; they do like the CGI over. So.
But that would have made the movie more interesting if it's a bunch of CGI lions who are perfectly sculpted and created to look like the real thing, but they have their actors' faces on the front.
Yeah.
Now that would be
Oh my
interesting.
goodness, that would be incredibly creepy.
Yeah.
What was that anime? Oh, it was One Piece where the lions had human heads for some reason.
Oh yeah,
The manticores?
in the jail. Yeah, I
And
remember
pull
that.
down,
Yeah, It'd be like that. And I'm thinking now of like Timon, it's this
Oh
little
my
creature
goodness.
with a little person's face. Okay, but I guess to clear the air, me personally, I really hate this new trend of them doing live action remakes of their old cartoons.
Yeah, and you just called it live action, Billy.
You know what? Well, the rest have been.
Yeah.
For the sake of, I guess that people are doing it for the sake of making it easier to talk about.
It's
but,
like how Souls-like games, people they just come with with video games. How every game is now Dark Souls if it's hard.
yeah,
It's
that's what
kind of
you-
like this, where every single remake is now live action, whether or not it is.
Yeah,
It's become
Souls-like means like Dark Souls.
It's
Yeah.
become a generic term, basically.
Yeah, but I guess I should say the Disney remakes. I guess it's beating a dead horse at this point, but it's just, to me, it's the most cynical thing a movie production studio has ever done.
Yeah, and I was thinking about this one, but I wanted to talk about the budget for this one before we get into the trailer, and just how they spent $250 to $260 million. And I was like, this was a little bit of a risk, I guess, because of how much money they spent, but they also made $1 billion back.
Well, that's the thing. That's why they did this. They knew it was going to make bank because they're cresting on a wave of nostalgia. That's all
Yeah.
this is. I mean, that's what people have been doing for decades now, but this is like late stage nostalgia media. We're literally giving you what you already had, but a weaker, more watered down, less interesting version of it. But
Yeah.
you lap it up like the unwashed masses of sheep you are.
Like, a lot of contempt coming from Billy here.
Yes.
Well, let's watch the trailer because there's a particular point I think we need to talk about.
Okay, but yeah, we hate this movie. That's the point I want to make. We hate all of it.
We've already technically seen it. If we've seen,
That's what my point
That's
was.
what the
It's
intro was.
only a few differences, but not many. Also, we didn't do introspection.
Oh yeah,
inspection, but we don't really have anything. So
No, we'll just skip it this time.
We're already perfect.
oh man,
So, I mean, we have to give it a pro for the visuals. I mean, that's all this movie
I don't
has.
care. Everybody's doing it. I don't care about the visuals.
Okay, well, we'll discard the visuals.
Yeah.
It's literally all it has, Billy.
No, I know
if
that.
you don't give it that, it's not a movie, basically. There's nothing redeeming about it other than the visuals.
This isn't a movie. This is an interesting experiment.
Yeah.
And the visuals are beautiful. Great. I don't care about visuals. Well, I do care about visuals in a movie, but they come second to the story, especially in this case. This is...
Okay.
It's just the same movie.
All right, then we'll disregard that. But the first con has to be the the voice acting. I guess is the best way to put it, or the CGI done for the voice acting. It's terrible, and it always just it kind of skeeves me out a little bit. You know what I'm talking about?
Where
The
the lips
lions-
move, but they look real, kind of deal.
The lions don't emote, so
No,
it looks really.
Hello, I am Simba. I want to be king one
But
day.
the voice actor is expressive.
Yeah, but the lion's not.
It's not. Like, why couldn't they put a little bit more expressions on the lions?
Because real lions don't emote.
Oh, I'm sorry. Real lions
I
don't,
thought this was with the visual medium. I thought it was animation. Oh,
don't
I'm
have
sorry.
an intricate power struggle. I'm sorry. It's not how that works. You know, how it works in real life is that another lion kind of creeps up, basically, and the male lion who's with the pride comes out, they fight,
Yeah.
either one of them wins,
Yeah.
and then either there's a takeover or there's not.
Yeah.
That's it. And they don't throw each other off in the wildebeest that they set up. You know?
This movie is just an animator's like portfolio reel.
But I do want that in our cons, because it's a pretty big one
Yeah,
for me.
the voice acting
I guess the lip syncing?
versus lip syncing.
And the thing is, the 1994 was like super expressive. This is all very muted and reserved.
Yeah, and I don't know what it is, but I will always find 2D animation way more beautiful and interesting than CGI. And to me, CGI it's kind of like something you add to like reality to kind of enhance it.
Yeah.
Like to me, it works best, say in Lord of the Rings, when you need to make a demon, like you need to make a Balrog in reality. That's when CGI shines. But I don't know. I guess like Pixar, they do a good job with it. I don't know. I'm just not. I know it's hard to do.
Just think about that. Balrog was 2001 CGI.
Yeah.
Think about that. It still looks great today.
But my point is, I know it's hard to do. I know it takes talent, and it is beautiful on a certain level. But I just don't get worked up over CGI. You like show me claymation. That to me sells the movie. I want to see that movie. I don't know what it is. I just don't value CGI. Maybe that's a problem with me, but I just don't value it on the
Maybe
same
it's
level.
just the way we've been raised. We were raised on 2D animation and claymation a lot, so maybe that has something to do with it.
Man, I
Well,
don't
we're
know.
not the only ones. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like we are just repeating the beats that if you've listened to any other review of this,
I was
that
afraid
we
of doing
have.
that. It's-
And we don't really have anything else to say other than James Earl Jones. He's old now.
No one can explain why father is 85.
MST3K quote for you. I know it's. I love James Earl Jones, but he's like 70 something now. Quit. It's like when he was Darth Vader. He's like, oh, my son, I am evil Sith Jedi.
Okay, Grandpa, go back to bed.
No, I'm fine.
It's all for comedy. We're not trying to make fun of
No,
James Earl
we
Jones.
love James Earl Jones, but it's just let him rest. Just quit dragging him back into the booth for these things he's already done a long time ago.
I miss Darth Vader's original high-pitched Scottish voice.
Yeah.
Is this how this guy is supposed to sound?
Yeah. Yeah, it's just I find this movie insulting
Yeah.
at its base level. I know they probably meant well. It's like, oh, it'd be cool. We'll repackage this in an interesting way. But it's like, you're just giving me the same movie, and you're like, well, you're stupid. You'll watch it. You know, that's what it feels like.
Yeah,
It's like a
I
slap in
can't
the
tell
face.
if it does mean well, though. I don't know.
Well, maybe
if
it
any of
doesn't. Maybe
these-
it's completely. I'm trying to give them the benefit of the
It's
doubt.
a shallow, cynical attempt to make money for a dying corporation.
That's what it feels like. That's why it's just disgusting to me.
I mean, we do hate.
Get this
I'm sorry.
filth out of here.
We can't say we hate Disney.
We don't. Well, we don't hate Disney, Peter Rabbit. We don't hate them. We just think they could be doing some things better.
Yes.
We feel like they're going down a path we don't appreciate or condone. That's all we'll say.
And I know you had a list, like differences.
Yeah.
You want to jump into that?
I think we should.
Because let's not focus on what's the same. Let's focus on what's different.
It's a very small list.
I see you've got the screen up, but it's blank, Billy.
Well, that's what I was kind of thinking too. But what's also weird is this movie is way longer than the original. And I think it's because it extended some things.
How long is it?
I think it's like 2 hours.
Oh.
I forget, but so this is an article from Screen Rant, which I actually used to write for. So I love their first point about the movie is the photorealism changes the look. Wow. Look, okay, having written these articles, you're desperate to make 10 points, so you'll go for anything. So I understand why they did that. You got to fill the space. And they make a good point that the songs aren't as fantastical because you notice like when he sings "I Can't Wait to Be King," the color palette changes. It's exuberant and bright and rainbow. But in this, it's just, nothing really changes.
Yeah, and like there's...
Here's another thing. I don't really understand. Disney was always known for its color, its like musicals, its songs. And now modern Disney doesn't seem to want to do the singing, which is what made them popular in the first place.
Well, because we're a more cynical nation, and it's like, it's not cool to sing.
too childish.
Yeah.
They're trying to appeal to a very, very broad audience.
This movie, to me, it fails automatically because its thesis was it wanted to be more realistic, a more realistic take on something that should have never been more realistic because you automatically just get a weaker product.
Right.
Because the songs aren't as intense or interesting or visual. So why even keep the songs? I mean, it's just gone flat out real.
Yeah.
But they know that they need the songs because that's where a majority of the nostalgia comes from.
That's
so
true.
it's their. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But
it lacks a lot of romanticism, I guess.
Romanticism in the
romanticism.
old sense, not just the new sense.
Well, in both
King
senses,
Arthur,
actually, because the "Can You Feel the Love Tonight" I heard was very lackluster, and they mostly just kind of ran around, and that was it.
Well, a lot of this is banking on the voice talent, in quotes, Beyonce and Childish Gambino. Donald Glover. I like Donald Glover.
Why didn't Simba just rap instead of just singing?
Now that would have been kind of interesting because he is a rapper and he was one of my favorite rappers back in a few years ago. I know he kind of changed his style, but I don't want to get. This isn't our music podcast we're thinking about doing, so I won't get into that. But I guess we'll move on. And it says Scar's backstory is different, which is weird because he didn't have much of a backstory. You kind of just got. That's why I feel like the original was so powerful because like. He never sits down and explains his deal really, except for the song. You just get that he's jealous of Mufasa and he wants power. You kind of pick it all up through, just what little you do have.
And what's interesting about that is people still love Scar for that.
Yeah.
He doesn't have any background per se that you can really pick up, or his motivations for it, other than he just wants it at a base. Yeah, people still love him and enjoy him. I mean, there's a lot
he was since a kid. He was one of my favorite villains. He still is.
He had panache and pizzazz. You know?
He had like I said, a Shakespearean kind of flamboyance.
And he actually succeeded in his goal.
Yeah,
and he had iron.
Yeah, Jeremy Irons. I mean, look, Chiwetel Ejiofor. I don't know if I'm saying his name right. The guy's good. I've seen him in stuff, but I mean, he's not a voice actor. I just don't. I mean, it works, but like. It's not. I'm sorry. It's hard to beat Jeremy Irons in voice acting. It's just, it's such a great, resonant, interesting voice. And they also they mute him too. They nullify him because he's not flamboyant in this. He doesn't have a personality. He's just kind of angry, and he's reserved. It's like he's a completely different character. And the biggest thing. Okay, so "Be Prepared" is still in the movie technically, but it's like a way shortened kind of a chant.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry. No "Be Prepared"? This movie should have been scrapped immediately.
Put that in the con.
And I think
be prepared. I mean, there is, but you know.
Why'd you put that in prose, Billy?
Ah!
Did you really did you actually?
No!
a bit of a Freudian slip
I'm
there.
sorry. I'm lying the whole time. I love this film.
So, and Con, do we want to more like the emotions are wrong or the emotions aren't there? I guess is a good way to put it.
Yeah, emotional content.
It kind of goes with the voice acting a little bit.
Yeah, emotional content is off/muted, and that's the problem with this. Like I keep saying, they wanted a realistic take on the Lion King, but they wanted to keep all the unrealistic parts too. It's inherently flawed.
They wanted their cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
Which...
So another change is the hyenas have more autonomy. They're less
lackeys.
Yeah, I mean they're lackeys, but they're more scary and they're less comedic. They do have a few comedic lines because, like we said, like Eric Andre and Keegan-Michael Key are two of the hyenas. And it's not Ed and Bonsai. They gave them more like normal kind of African names.
Oh.
Yeah. So they just, like I said, they keep getting rid of the interesting parts to make it more realistic, and therefore disarming the very things that made it. I'm just going to keep saying that over and over again. I guess.
I wonder if they got rid of Bonsai for a different reason.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering that too. That's not very PC.
No, just want to dodge that bullet. I
mean, it is spelled differently, but
there'd be someone in the bullet.
Yeah. No, ironically, Bonsai is not about dodging bullets. And then Timon and Pumbaa, they live in a kind of animal society, which is kind of weird. Like,
we live in a society.
You know what I mean?
Isn't Simba by default live in an animal society at Pride Rock? So.
Yeah, but what they mean is, in the original cartoon, they were like loners. They were just two dudes, two bachelors living on their own.
They found an oasis to themselves.
Yeah, but in this, there's other animals there. I'm not quite sure why that is.
I thought it was going to be the case where like they're like the rulers of all the bugs. Like, do the bugs not have like their own?
No,
I guess not.
They're too stupid. They have little brains. So.
I guess so. I thought we were going to find out that they're just like the overlords of all these bugs. The bugs have to sacrifice to Timon and Pumbaa.
Timon the Ant King.
Yeah.
That would have been an interesting twist. A way darker story.
Well, they already got out all the fun and color. Might as well add it in, Yeah,
it would have been interesting. Okay, so another mega con here is there's no Hula song. There is that scene, but Timon just shills for Disney and sings part of Be Our Guest. There's no... That, to me, that is the best moment in the entire movie.
What are they doing with this movie? Who thought this was a good idea? Let's take
Well, it was a good idea, evidently.
They made a lot of money.
A cool billion, but... But no, it was a flawed idea from the very start.
Just strip it of all its identity, why don't you,
Okay, but I would like to preface that by saying that moment does start with Timon saying, "What? Do you want me to dress in drag and do the hula?" Which was an ad-lib line I've read. I don't feel like that would have been another non-PC moment here.
That's what made it good, though.
Yeah. The moment I heard those two things, I was like, just put it in the dumpster. I don't even want to look at this.
See, I can't think of
nothing to me.
I was thinking like, we need pros and cons. I usually try to like push us to get some pros and cons. I can't think of any pros for this movie. I really can't.
No, because I refuse to give it. Oh, the visuals are pretty. I don't care. I'm sick of that.
The visuals.
I'm sick of these two things. It's like, oh wow, the music was good, or the visuals good, but this doesn't even have good music.
Yeah.
Yes, it does because it's the old music.
Well,
it
really has the music. You know,
well,
it's like a chant or like a few snippets, and then it's over.
It's not as performed as well, at least. But and I just can't. I can't listen to Timon as anyone but Nathan Lane.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, Seth Rogen is he's not a bad Pumbaa. Technically, if you're gonna pick someone, but still, I prefer the originals. And
yeah,
you can't,
obviously.
Billy Eichner can't hold a candle to Nathan Lane. I'm sorry. All of this is just, hey, here's the worst version. Enjoy. Give us $1 billion.
That's the problem, is that they're banking on nostalgia, and we are creatures of nostalgia.
Well, no, they're banking on nostalgia and star power.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, those two, but like it kind of ruins the nostalgia, and the star power ruins it a little bit too because it's not the original. So
no, it's maybe I have to set
I'm
my
surprised
ways.
it did so well. To be fair, but
I'm not. Because to be at the end of the day, I'm not even really mad at Disney.
No.
I'm mad at all the people who gave this thing money.
Yeah.
Who made this movie more successful than Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which is there's some CGI animation which is beautiful and stylized and looks like almost 2D animated. And it didn't do nearly as good. At least it did pretty well.
It has a good story, and it's pretty. I don't know. Is it based off a comic or?
I mean, in a loose sense. I mean, I think it pulled some stuff, but I think
it's the same way that Sam Raimi's Spider-Man is based on the comics.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, at least it was interesting.
It just makes me mad that like the subpar stuff.
Stop enabling them.
Yeah, just gets $1 billion when better stuff. Yeah, I mean, you know whose movies look good? Nicholas Winding Refn, but he's not going to make $1 billion. I mean, partly because the stuff is so violent and off-putting, but I like it. There's lots of stuff that look good, but they don't get any, credit.
So pros, the visual.
No, I refuse.
Well, it's just they haven't added anything, from their. Not joking. We've got over that point.
I say it like every time.
Do we want to go on to random reviews already?
Yeah, I think we will. I wanted to bring. I forgot. I remember what I was gonna bring up, but they got Beyonce in the film, and like I don't personally have anything against Beyonce, but it creeps me out how there's like this cult around her.
Yeah,
I remember SNL. They actually did a pretty funny sketch where it's this world where like Beyonce is basically the ruler, and there's this one guy. He's just not really into Beyonce, and he's immediately persecuted, and agents are chasing him down. And that's what it feels like for me. Like, I mean, she's a fine pop star, but like, I don't understand. It's like, oh, Beyonce's in the film. Oh my goodness! Pull me into the theater now, please. I gotta see it instantly. Money.
I don't know. There's just like these stars that are elevated to a different level. There always seems to be in generations.
Yeah.
Like, who is a big one?
Beyonce.
Yeah, Beyonce, that's the one.
I don't know, Michael Jackson?
Would Marilyn Monroe?
Yeah, she kind of, I mean, she wasn't a pop star, but...
No, but I just mean star in general. Like, that everybody is like, you say that name and everybody just kind of, it clicks or everyone freaks out kind of thing.
Yeah. To me, knowing that a pop star's in a film makes me want to see it less, as I brought up on Ugly Dolls, because that's when I can see the gears behind the scene. I can see Oz in his booth, behind the curtain.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, this is we got to get a certain demographic into the theater, so let's get Beyonce.
Oz is like, I must get Ice Cube and Beyonce to convince Dorothy to go fight the witch.
Okay, now that would be an interesting take on The Wiz, because there is the African-American version of the Wizard of Oz. So I would like to see like Ice Cube as the Cowardly Lion.
Yeah, that would work.
And he goes from cowardly to, he has like a gun and he's willing to cap you.
Yeah.
Which he does get a gun in the original, because they take the guards like uniforms and firearms, and I think they shoot it at one point.
Oh,
yeah. So
I don't remember that.
It works. Okay, we got way off base. I just want to be like an old man and rant about pop stars I don't like. Okay, but final article, and I just thought it was worth bringing up because it made me think. This is kind of article on how the Lion King gets real life lion family dynamics wrong, and it's basically. This is from the New York Times, and it was saying, like, technically the female lions run the pride. It's kind of like with most animals where there's two kind of hierarchies. There's the male hierarchy and the female hierarchy, and the males just kind of come and go and do their own thing. And they were saying, like, it should have been called the Lion Queen, because that's, the female lions. But this, I'm saying, is actually a brilliant idea for a movie. Like, this scrappy pride of, female lions trying to survive, and you cast Beyonce and you make her the star. Can you imagine how much more money they would have made if this was like original story starring a pack of female lions?
It would have been a risk, though, because...
Yeah, but...
At least it would have been interesting. I do get that.
It would have been a different story, and it would have been a different property, and you had Beyonce, and you would have given... Because she's just Nala in this.
And then what you can do is you can have it where a new male takes over, and unfortunately when that happens, if you have any really young cubs, they have to get off. But, that's what happens.
Yeah.
If they're older than a certain point, they won't get killed for whatever reason. But if they're really young, just death.
Because that's what I think the article says is, like, male lions are actually pretty affectionate to most cubs in the pack.
Yeah.
Because they don't know whose is whose, so they just treat all cubs like their own.
Yeah.
Until there's a takeover.
And if there's a takeover and really young,
Yeah. See, that's what I'm saying. You make the Lion Queen, you get $2 billion. especially like with all the female remakes and stuff. And the other angle you take is they're like a group of young females. They don't have a male. A male comes. He tries to run the pack. He does a horrible job, and he has to get like kicked out and overthrown. Female empowerment. I mean, this stuff. I'm just saying. I can't believe Hollywood has not made this movie. You know, I'm here. Get me. And I'll help you write it. I want that Disney money. I don't hate Disney. I disagree with Disney, but I do like their money. So
Yes.
hey, come on, let's make the Lion King.
I like how they're upset about family dynamics, but you have a meerkat and a warthog hanging out. You got hyenas hanging out with another lion who they hate each other. I mean, why?
Well, they're not mad. They're just making an article about how
They
the
need
real-
content.
Everyone's
Yeah.
gonna make an article, I
Yeah.
suppose.
They need content.
Because you think about it, you got Beyonce. You could have it could be all African American cast. Have a feminist message.
Yeah.
You know, you could have your fancy CGI, and it wouldn't matter because it's a new story.
Yeah.
It's the perfect movie.
But it's a new story. We can't do it. It's
I'm
too
sorry.
risky.
New story.
We
No,
It's too risky.
We
All right.
need you to make not the Black Cauldron one. Everyone wants that, so I'm not gonna do that remake.
Black Cauldron.
Black Cauldron.
We're
yeah.
gonna do another remake, not the Black Cauldron.
Yeah.
We know everyone loves it, but we won't ever touch it ever
Yeah.
again. 'Cause
Look, I want the Song of the South gritty reboot.
We can't talk about that. They'll take us down.
we
for
can't
that.
talk about that one. You don't mention that movie.
I want
It doesn't exist.
I want acapella in places around Texas. That'd be the code name. Acapella in Arkansas. There we go. That's
I
the
would
code
say
name for
Gritty Winnie the Pooh remake, but they already did that.
it. They did. Oh, that's true with Ian McGregor.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's all I had.
All right.
Look, Disney, call me the Lion Queen. I'm just saying.
We will take Disney money if they do sponsor us. They
Yes.
never will, but we would take
Yes,
the
we
money.
would take it.
We don't watch any movies.
We do greatly we don't always agree with what they say, but we do love their money, as I said.
We love money, just
Yes.
in general. So
Yeah.
if anybody
Money.
wants to give us money, go ahead.
We have a Patreon.
Like Quark from Deep Space Nine said, greed is the purest emotion.
Exactly.
It overcomes all other evils.
All right, so random reviews.
Or purest vice, rather, not emotion.
We have some good ones. You know, not as good as some of the premium ones I've found, but they're quite good.
I just noticed that some of those lines are looking a little chunky.
We'll start with a.
Pumbaa looking a little chunky.
All right, we have Assad. A very memorable movie from 1994, which reminds us about those old days. It flashbacks you with the original movie and becomes more amazing. Heart, heart. He's using emoticons. No words to describe the movie. Perfect, unforgettable, memorial, lovable, magnificent, amazing, magical, wonderful, enchanting, all-time favorite, funny, emotional, best, lesson learning. So 1, 2,
Is this
3,
tantalizing tags
4,
all of a sudden?
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So 14 words to describe it, turns out. There's no words to describe it, but there's also 14 words to describe it.
Oh,
So-
wait a second. Is he talking about the new one or the 1944? 'Cause he was talking about that one a lot.
I don't know. He says it's a very memorable movie from 1994. Maybe he thinks this is the one from
Well, he says
1994.
he says you have flashbacks while you're watching the 2019 one, to the 1994 one.
I guess so.
So I'm wondering if he's praising the 2019 one, or is he like talking about the wonderful flashbacks to the 1994 one? And if that's the case, why not just watch the 1994 one?
Yeah, I mean, either or at this point, I guess.
We'll just call. I mean, most of the reviewers are confused individuals, but and so they continue. If you watch it 100 of times, you will never get bored or tired of it. Heart-touching and fascinating movie. Amazing effects and fascinating work done by the Lion King team. Hats off and a round of applause. Thumbs up, okay, okay, clap, clap. Wonderful songs, and this movie made me as if I am in the realistic movie. What a dream come true.
It makes you feel like Batman.
So real. Halo emoticon, love. Must watch. Sunrise, sunset. Sun, bird, cheetah, something. Warthog, leaves, tiger, monkey, and then 2 more cheetahs. So that was that.
There's a bunch of emojis?
Yes. I just want the audience to picture there's a guy sitting in a theater, and all of a sudden he just gets up and starts running away because he thinks he's in the realistic movie with a bunch of lions. You know.
Hey, that's a pro right there. Put you in the action.
Puts you into the movie.
Yeah.
So do you think you're a lion in that case, or are you like fearing for your life?
I don't know.
Do you kill small children thinking you're a lion?
This movie made me as if I am in the realistic movie. The realistic movie.
I like that.
I do love the idea of this movie, but there's like a really terrified man in the background, like constantly running away and trying to get covered.
So many lions.
All right.
Put you in the movie. Okay, well, we'll give it a pro. We gotta give it some pros.
Yeah, put you in the movie.
I'm also
Even,
gonna do,
even Robin Hood had some pros.
I do a con for they didn't do the Lion Queen idea.
All right, then while you're doing that, we have Lee. He liked it. I've never been to a movie like tonight. I've been going to movies since I was 6. The Lion King was on another level. There was crying, laughing, and singing and rounds of applause. As soon as the sun began to rise and the African chant started, that is, announcing the birth of the future king, I started to cry, and cried through the whole song of Circle of Life. I literally was shaking. I would have paid just to see that one scene. That one scene was the most beautiful scene I've ever seen in a movie.
These are the people I'm talking about. These people are so drugged up on nostalgia, they can't see straight.
Baby Simba, adorable, beyond words, adorable.
Not beyond words yet again.
Yes.
There are no words, but there's at least one.
Yeah. Or 14, either
Yeah,
one.
414.
Simba and Nala's cubs, voiced by G.D. McCreary? How do you say that?
McCreary, I think?
McCreary?
It doesn't matter.
And Shahidi Williams Joseph. Wow, these kids' voice work was superb. James Earl Jones, what can be said? His voice as Mufasa is legendary.
Yeah, they brought him back to kill him again. And I was like, well, thanks. You know, that's what I wanted to see again.
I was so worried about the voice of Scar going in. To me, Jeremy Irons' voice as Scar is iconic as J.E.J. as Mufasa. James Earl Jones. Chiwetel Ejiofor voiced Scar 2019 in place of Irons. Wow, what big shoes to fill, and filled them he did. His voice fit 2019 Scar, as did Irons' 1994 Scar. Ejiofor at times sounds very similar to James Earl Jones, which adds to the fact Mufasa and Scar are brothers. Ejiofor was excellent 2019 Scar.
Okay, so we get his... He laid out his opinion very well in Scar. Okay.
It's not done. Donald Glover was iffy for me as adult Simba. He wasn't bad, but he wasn't all that great. Just meh for me. The same as Beyonce as adult Nala. Meh. Actually, I think he spelled it Beyounce, but
Beyounce. Well, no, it is. How does it spell?
Beyounce. Is that how it's spelled?
O-U-N-C?
Yes.
Beyounce?
Same as Beyounce as adult Nala. We got Beyounce here.
It's her brand of trampoline.
Yeah, Beyounce.
The Beyonce's Beyounce trampoline.
Oh my goodness.
So is that a pro Beyounce? No.
Beyounce. It is in a way, but not for the movie.
Pumbaa and Timon, voiced by Seth Rogen and Billy Eichner, is a match made in Lion King heaven. They were laugh out loud, crazy funny. Oh, I love these two together. I love this movie. I love the visual beauty of it all. My only complaint is Beyounce did not do Circle of Life justice. He spelled it again. Not that she was bad, she just wasn't good enough. Her new song Spirit that's in the movie is underwhelming. To be honest, I couldn't understand a word she was singing. Also, I noticed the parts of the movie that were more drama-filled had graphics so realistic, it's crazy good. The parts that are comic relief look different. A blend of real and animation. I love that balancing of the different looks. It's subtle, but it's there. Mufasa death scene was quick, and it needed to be. I felt so uncomfortable. I'm glad it was fast. It looked too real. And very painful to watch.
That's good. That's a good thing everyone says about movies they like. You know, that scene was real quick, which is good, because I just wanted it to be over with. Yeah.
So what happened? He gets hit by a couple of wildebeest, and a human comes out and just shoots him. Put him down real quick.
That dentist that shot Cecil comes out and shoots Mufasa.
I've read reviews saying there's not any emotion on the faces of the lions because of the CGI used. They saw a different take than I did. I saw emotion. I love art, and this movie is a piece of art.
In his own deluded mind, yes, he did see a different take.
It's a director's cut that
only he was privy to see.
Yeah.
Maybe their problem was they didn't get the real Beyonce. They got Beyounce.
Beyounce.
That's a con right there. They got secondhand Beyonce. They got Beyounce.
Beyounce. It's like her sister that can't sing very well, but she looks like her. Can you feel the love tonight? Well, it's Beyonce, so I guess we have to. What happened to her?
Sounds so
Who cares?
different.
We already paid for her.
All right, then we go into the IMDb ones. This is Green Stripes. He gave it a 2 out of 10.
I love the ones. I love, kind of odd topic, but I do love the IMDb where it's like a search or whatever, or
A search?
no, what was it? Where they ask a question.
Oh, like, are you talking about using it as a forum?
Yes,
instead
a
of-
forum.
Oh,
yeah.
well, you get that on IMDb and you get that on the Google review site. It's literally every review site.
I love those.
Okay, but I don't think this is one of them. It says 1994 would be disappointed. Just the year would be.
disappointed.
No, I was born that year, so I should be
Tons.
disappointed.
1994 was disappointed. He's not mad. He's just disappointed. Everything about this movie, from animation and music composition to characters' personality, was done poorly. It's almost as if a 10-year-old was given creative control of the film. The script was poorly written, personalities were altered from the original, and what the H happened to Simba. I'm glad I saw the original first, because this was awful.
But the 10-year-old did not write the script.
Yeah.
Whoever wrote the script in '94 wrote
Yeah,
the
so
script.
it's a little bit of a...
Yeah. That's the thing. There's a lot in performance,
Yeah.
The writing, we often say that, like, the writing is key, and it is, but you can take beautiful writing and ruin it in a performance.
Yeah. Then we have the last one, Deanna Stew, 1 out of 10. Disney, what have you done?
That's all it is.
No, that's the title.
Okay, I was like...
They give them titles on IMDb.
I was like, if that was it, that was the perfect review.
Alright, just to be clear, this is my all-time favorite movie. I can't stress this enough. I love The Lion King 1994. But what I saw today was horror for me. The CGI was good, but everything else wasn't. I would recommend you watch this movie, only so you can appreciate the original at its true value. They ruined, and again, can't stress this enough, the songs, especially Be Prepared. The actors were awful, plain, flat, except James Earl Jones, Seth Rogen, and John Oliver. Beyonce, spelled correctly this time. Really? Anyone else could have done a better job, and I mean anyone. Had no emotion whatsoever, none. Missed important scenes from the first movie, like 1, Rafiki hitting Simba with the stick, saying it's in the past.
Oh, yeah, I thought... I couldn't remember exactly which scene, but it was like a instrumental scene, and that...
Yeah, it's
and
when
that was it.
Rafiki and Simba are talking, basically.
They don't have that entire scene is gone?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I know, it's like, well, this has got the whole story.
2, smart, funny conversation between Hyenas and Simba/Nala/Zazu, and many more. I wanted to cry when Mufasa died, but I couldn't because it all happened in 20 seconds and it's flat. Also, I wanted to cry at the end of the movie because it was horrible. So now I'm just imagining it's just like Mufasa, he gets knocked down and just wildebeest just come running in and just, yeah.
Brother, help me, long live the king. Ah!
They speed that part up.
Yeah.
I like how we have these two opposites of this person absolutely hating it, the other person who was like, I saw a different take. They were emotional.
Either that or there's two different, varieties, like I was saying, two different cuts of this movie floating around, and some people see this really excellent version, other people see this really awful version. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to bring up any conspiracy theories, but...
Yeah, maybe Disney did it so that you would appreciate the original when I go watch and buy that, and if you were off chance like that...
No, I see what you're saying.
They released two different copies to target two different demographics.
Yeah, so one ruins it for you, so you go back and buy the original, and
Yes.
one you like it, so you buy this one. That's really brilliant, because like we mentioned, I think in Wonder Park, you don't want your merchandise competing with each other.
Yeah.
So Disney, they found the ultimate workaround. Released a bad and a good version.
No, listen, they're gonna have to start doing this since they pretty much own every single film company.
Yeah.
So this is the only way to keep them from competing with each other.
So they... Is that a pro? I'll do a pro-con. Released two versions to
Also,
avoid...
the Disney What Have You Done, the title is a reference to the Lion King itself. I don't know if you caught it.
Oh, yeah.
Simba.
What have you done?
Yeah. So...
Okay. Oh, yeah, and also they changed up that scene where Simba, like he falls down the edge of the mountain when he's an adult, and like a bit of his hair flies to Rafiki.
Oh yeah,
they made that way longer. It's like this extended like Rube Goldberg machine thing, where like
did any hair actually go in the original? I don't think it did. I think it was just like it was basically like the spirits told him. I thought.
Yeah, I think there might have been. I can't remember. I actually forgot
but
this happened.
This time it was actual physical evidence. Basically.
Yeah, and it gets put in a nest by a bird, and then it's thrown out and lands in a branch, and then a giraffe eats it. And then giraffe poops it out, and it's rolled by a dung beetle. So right there, I'm like, this don't smell like Simba anymore. This smells like a giraffe.
Also, how could he tell anyways? So it didn't really matter. The spirits would have had to tell him anyways that this particular piece of fur that's been through so much is Simba's. Yeah. You know?
They tried to make it more realistic how I got back, or is it less realistic now? I don't know. But I love the idea. I know something happens after it gets rolled around by a dung beetle, but I love the idea of Rafiki just picking that up and going, Simba.
He has a monkey.
Yeah. Either that or he's like, giraffe. Giraffe is now king. Hey. The giraffe, the inn walks up, Pride Rock, and bellows. The Giraffe King.
Maybe that's why he wanted to cry at the end, because it deviated so much. It's like the giraffe became king.
You know what? I kind of like that idea. It's a bold new twist. The Giraffe King.
Well, lions won't question it because they won't attack giraffes. So
that's true.
If a giraffe came in, they wouldn't question it.
No, he has the clout to be king.
Can you think about that for a moment? Giraffes are so bad that
lions, because
lions won't touch you.
A giraffe
you don't
can
touch a lion.
Well,
you don't touch a giraffe.
Yeah,
it'll kick you and it'll break your neck and you'll die.
Kill you instantly.
Or I don't know if they actually do it to defend themselves. You can imagine a scene where a lion questions the giraffe and the giraffe just swings his head and just whips him away.
I think they only do that to fight each other. But I don't know. I've never.
They're more likely to kick you and just destroy you, basically.
I mean, think about that final fight. The giraffe walks up, kicks Scar, kills him instantly, and then he's king. And the hyenas aren't going to mess with him because they're even smaller than lions. So, okay, you know what?
Giraffes.
I'm seeing a little more validity.
The giraffes, the undisputed kings of Savannah.
Yeah, the Giraffe King. I like it. Because you're expecting it to play out exactly like it did, but then you get this bold twist and like this...
He kills Simba too.
Yeah.
Simba comes back.
He kills everyone.
And it happens as quickly as Mufasa's death. Poof.
Yeah.
I think I'm turning around on this.
So before we move on to, I think, facts and follies, I kind of wanted to see where King Giraffe falls into our lexicon. Because so far we have the evil group, I guess you want to call them, with Lightning Fast Everyman, Peter Rabbit, the One-Eyed King. Is there anyone else?
I think Ferdinand.
Well, Ferdinand's on the good side.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
We haven't added any to Ferdinand's side.
Not really. They're all mostly malevolent beings.
I guess we could add Battle Angel Alita, I guess, to Ferdinand's allies.
I guess so.
The queen of Roboball, Rumbleball,
Motorball.
Motorball.
Yeah.
And then, so is King Giraffe evil? Is he good? Is he more like...
I think he's our first kind of neutral player.
Or I guess they're trying to vie for like control over King Giraffe, like trying to sway him to one side or the other. But he's just kind of chilling in his pride with his lions.
Yeah, because I feel like there's already a villain king on the evil side, the One-Eyed King. I feel like the Giraffe King isn't wanting to share,
Yeah.
So
power with the One-Eyed King.
He's like the token evil teammate then for like the side of good.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say he's evil, but he's like an anti-hero, or he's more unscrupulous.
Yeah. Ferdinand likes him for his power, but he doesn't like his morality, I would say.
It's like the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Because he did murder Simba when he tried to take back.
It's very unfortunate,
But in the Giraffe King's defense, he thinks he is now the rightful king. So from his perspective, all Jedi are evil.
The lions are evil.
So from his perspective, he was defending his rightful place from an attacker.
Great. Right. Now the Giraffe King, it sounds like Hayden Christian in my head.
In a way,
hey, get him to do the voice.
What made Simba good, I guess, is a good way to put it.
Yeah, that's right. He's just disposed, like, Prince.
The one good thing he does is kill Scar, leads to Scar's death, but the Giraffe King has already done that, so is the Giraffe King the hero in a way?
I would say yes. I think it's kind of morally gray, but I don't think he's flat out evil. I think he's somewhere in the middle. And I think he probably will team up with the good guys just because it's expedient.
Yeah. All right, well, let's move on to facts and follies now.
Okay. So, got a few good things this time. It's not going to be a weak one. And we'll begin with this one, starting with facts, as usual. According to Seth Rogen, his singing skills were so poor that the vocal coach hired for him, none other than Pharrell Williams, was literally banging his head against a wall trying to extract a blanking good note out of me, is what Rogen says.
So, good. So, the pros, I think that's a con.
Yeah, they hired a guy for a musical who can't sing.
It'd be like hiring one of us.
Yeah.
But I think we could do better.
Probably. I mean, Rogan has his faults and stuff, but I don't know, I do appreciate his openness about stuff like this, and the way he dissed the showrunners of Game of Thrones that ruined, season 8. I don't watch Game of Thrones, but I've been following the drama, and Rogan directly attacked them at Comic-Con and made fun of them for not showing up. So I do respect him in some regards, but in this trivia, it just kind of got tacked on, but Jeremy Irons expressed interest in reprising his role as Scar, which when you brought back Mufasa, I mean...
Wonder what happened with that.
Well, there's going to be one that's going to fill that in, I think, for us.
Oh.
And I think we know the answer, but... So, back to kind of Be Prepared and the issue around that. Scar's villainous song, Be Prepared, was originally to be left out of the film due to its Nazi themes, which Disney executives were afraid to tackle, and because Chiwetel Ejiofor's voice was not fit for the singing. They keep hiring all these people who can't sing.
Yeah.
This drew a lot of ire from film critics and fans until the studio relented and put a shortened version of the song back in the film. So I'm going to go ahead and add cons hired people who can't sing.
For music.
Hang on a second. Be prepared. Nazi imagery?
Yes. It's so
subtle,
vague and subtle that you could almost call it not there.
And two, would Scar even be a Nazi? He's not fighting for alliance supremacy. If anything, he's more, I would guess, a communist dictator, because he went to like the mass, which would be the Hyenas.
It really is.
And he used them. He said he went to the proletariat of the Hyenas and said, "There's a bourgeoisie of lions who don't care about you. I care about you." And so, like Lenin, he had kind of his Red October moment. So would it not be Nazi, but more communistic? Because communists did, in communist Russia, did march kind of like that.
He was just supposed to be a representation, I guess, of authoritarian, whereas Mufasa was more of a representation of like a kind, benevolent ruler per se.
He's still an autocrat.
But I mean,
he's still an autocrat, but he's a good autocrat versus a bad autocrat. That's all it's trying to represent.
Yeah, but and you're right. He is more a communist in that regard.
He did start starving everyone at this poor management. So there's that. So he's more of a communist than I guess the Nazi.
But I think they're talking about that scene where the hyenas are goose stepping.
Yes.
But that's the only Nazi-ish thing. You could have cut that little segment out or just made the march more regular, and there'd be no Nazi themes. It's just a dumb excuse, I feel like.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't like it, but they just didn't want to put it in the movie.
I guess.
Which I wonder if they were trying to get away from the singing, and that's why they hired on singing people. But like the director wanted to not have as much singing. Yeah. But the people, the bigwigs at Disney are like, there has to be the singing, basically.
Well, the bigwigs, they knew what part of the appeal was. I'm on their side this time. If you're just gonna rip off an old product and you don't do the songs, the thing that cemented it in the hearts of the audiences, it's kind of dumb.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I'm just saying that that's probably what happened.
Yeah. And two, he's the villain, so who cares if there's Nazi themes?
Yeah.
You're not supposed to root for Scar.
Yeah. And this was just, we already talked about it, but, how they gave the hyenas all kind of traditional African names, and they got rid of Bonsai and Ed. Okay, so this is kind of what I was talking about earlier. So I don't know if it's going to be controversial or not, but I thought it was kind of funny. Okay, so bear with me. If you get mad at us on Twitter, that's fine. I guess we could use the publicity. So Chiwetel Ejiofor, we need to come up with a fun nickname for him.
Weedle?
Weedle. Okay, so Weedle commented on how important it is that this version has largely cast actors of African American descent. The original film had Caucasian actors like Irons, Matthew Broderick, and Moira Kelly taking on the roles of African characters. There was criticism about it.
There was.
All right, and I'll jump down because it's talking about how important it is. And then Shahadi Wright Joseph, who plays young Nala, agreed, sharing her own personal story of how she identified with the character growing up. Representation is really important because you have all these amazing characters inspiring little black girls and black boys. I know Nala inspires little girls because that happened to me when I was younger. I literally said that I wanted to be here.
So animals are now race casted?
Well, that's my question. These are not African people. These are animals. Animals do not have races, okay? Am I missing something here? Does it matter who voices an animal?
I don't know. I guess it matters to them. I guess it's a form of typecasting. Is that the correct term?
It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird to say that only African Americans or African people can voice animals from Africa. It's like, they are not the same thing. You know, animals are animals.
I don't know what to say about. I
just love the African characters. These are not African characters.
No.
These are African animal characters.
There's a little bit of a difference. I mean, it's like saying only an American can play a bald eagle or whatever. It's like, it's kind of weird. Like, what does it matter? I mean,
it's very weird. I mean, here I thought that the voice, as long as the voice fit the character, it didn't really matter. But apparently I was not aware that animals are all coded with a race. I mean, I guess to be fair, you can give the animal qualities of like where they're from, like the nationality, like you can give them, like an Irish accent or Scottish accent if they're an animal from that region or whatever. But I didn't realize that now diversity concerns were being thrust upon animals. But hey, this is not my forte. I just thought that was funny.
As Dad always says, and we quote him now, whatever suits your boat.
Yes, whatever suits your boat.
Whatever suits your boat.
Yeah. Okay, so now on to follies. Technically, a lion wouldn't be able to survive on just bugs, no matter how much protein they have. Simba, at some point, realistically would have become malnourished and may have been forced to eat other animals.
I like how that's a factual error.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
It's a grave. Neil deGrasse Tyson wrote this one. He couldn't accept it.
Well, we got to put it as a cause.
Yeah.
Factual error.
Yeah.
Lion can't live off bugs.
There is the kind of a movie here where, sort of like Little Shop of Horrors, where Timon and Pumbaa are having to like lure animals to Simba to slate his hunger.
Well, they live in a society. Maybe like the older generations would offer themselves up to Simba occasionally when he became really malnourished.
Let's keep it kid friendly and say that there's lots of water there, so they got him fish.
Yeah,
there we go.
That's true. He can eat fish. Fish aren't alive. They're made of plastic.
They're made of foam latex.
Yeah,
it's acceptable to kill fishes and bugs. That's it. That's
yes.
what our society has deemed appropriate for people to eat and kill.
Well,
yes.
on screen.
Yeah.
They basically have like the same mind,
Mental
consciousness. Yeah.
So a plot hole here. Scar's cover up of his murder of Mufasa leaves a gaping hole. He sends Zazu to get the Pride for help, and after the stampede, claims to the Pride that he didn't reach the gorge in time to help Simba and Mufasa. Zazu is implied to have been exiled from the Pride after Scar's takeover, given how the hyenas regularly try to eat him when he shows up. But considering Zazu still clearly regularly visited Pride Rock to relay information, it's a wonder how Scar's lie about not being able to make it to the gorge didn't get exposed by Zazu.
Well, maybe
Zazu's complicit.
Maybe he is. Think about it.
Secret villain.
Maybe Zazu's just stupid.
Yeah, maybe he knows where like the wind's blowing and he just goes with whoever's in power at the time.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I'd do it.
He still wants to keep himself useful to Scar, still not tattling in case Simba fails.
Yeah.
Be like, I didn't tell him or anything.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it didn't matter anyways because the Giraffe King came.
Yeah. So,
Oh yeah.
so now he's on the side of Giraffe King because he's the
he's-
most powerful. But I thought it was funny. It made me think back to the original film. Doesn't Scar, he smacks Zazu and knocks him out.
Yes.
It's funny how Zazu never brought that up either, that Scar assaulted him. You know, I don't know if it's...
Well, he got knocked out. Maybe he didn't realize what happened.
I guess so. It's just funny that, you know, he never thought to put 2 and 2 together.
And Zazu was imprisoned after that. I don't know how much
He was
interaction.
able,
Oh, yeah,
that's
he
true.
was.
He was put in a cage.
And, like,
Although I thought he could just leave it whatever he wanted, but I guess not.
kept on a tight leash by Scar. But
Yeah. I don't know. We need a Zazu like Lion King 1.5. You know, what was he going through? What's kind of this...
He was in a cage singing "It's a Small World After All."
Yeah, that's it. Well, I feel like there could be this kind of political intrigue story of a small bird trying to stay alive after a hostile takeover. You know, kind of like a World War II story of, you know, someone living in a town that's been taken over by the Nazis.
By the
Nazis,
hyenas.
and he's being forced to work with the new regime, or at least tolerate them, and he's just trying to, you know, live his life. I don't know. I feel like there's a story there.
there is a story. You should write it,
They
Billy.
want to wring more out of, you know, the Lion King. Let's do Zazu 1.5. Okay, so another plot hole. The pride doesn't come to Simba's defense when he confesses responsibility for Mufasa's death, even after he says it was an accident that happened when he was a cub. And Scar backs Simba to the cliff of Pride Rock and gloats to him about the look in Mufasa's eyes before his death. Whereas in the original, this was a more private conversation the others didn't hear. In the remake, once Simba turns the tables on Scar, Sarabi asks how Scar saw the look in Mufasa's eyes if he didn't make it to the gorge in time, proving that it wasn't a private conversation. If Sarabi, which is Simba's mother, could hear Scar admit he was lying, why didn't she try to step in sooner? No one's doing anything.
She wanted to see how the winds would blow.
Oh, I guess so. Man, everyone is really two-faced.
Man, but it's scumbags in this movie.
Welcome to the royalty, I guess you
that's
could say.
true. Yeah, that's true. And the Lion King is basically a remake of Hamlet to a certain extent. So
Yeah, I mean,
I wish he was more like him. That'd be much more interesting.
yeah.
there's
What are you reading, Simba? Words! Words! Words!
There's certainly a white lion buried in the back of Disney's yard.
Yes,
Yeah, we won't go into that, but
the Giraffe King took him out first. No,
no, Disney took him out.
yeah, that's true.
It was, it was a retelling of Hamlet. That was the
Yes,
only
that's
thing.
all it is. Yeah, they or maybe they didn't kill the white lion; they just waited for him to die. You could say.
Oh yeah, I mean that's correct. Yeah,
Because isn't that what happened? Basically, they just waited for the original creator to die and then stole the rights. Yeah.
pretty much. I mean,
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
I'm gonna say.
Allegedly.
Yeah. Disney is not a nefarious. I'm doing air quotes. Disney is not nefarious and duplicitous at all.
yes.
Okay, so I guess that's it for Facts and Follies. Now we can move on to what I believe is dubbed questionable quizzes, aka quasi quizzes.
Yes, and I have 2 quizzes. I don't know if we're going to do both, but there's a quiz on BuzzFeed that apparently the actors themselves took
Oh.
to see what... I think we might do that one. The other one's more of just a generic, which Lion King 2019 character are you?
Okay, let's do the BuzzFeed sanctioned one.
Yes,
Yeah,
all right.
BuzzFeed.
You know, that bastion of news and
Yes, BuzzFeed
veracity.
is great. When it comes to quizzes for the internet, anyways.
Yeah.
All right, so the first question is, which of these iconic Disney villain tunes would you want to belt at your next karaoke night? Be Prepared,
Oh.
Gaston, Poor Unfortunate Souls, Hellfire, Mother Knows Best, Friends on the Other Side. Now, there's some really good songs here.
I wonder
Yeah.
what
Be
we'll
Prepared,
get.
Friends on the Other Side,
Yeah.
Poor Unfortunate Souls, all good
Yeah,
songs.
I like
that we-
basically all of those. I don't know about Mother Knows Best.
Hellfire.
That's
I know it's,
that's Tangled.
I know it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hellfire.
So what are we thinking?
I mean, I'm tempted to go Be Prepared because but I'm torn between Be Prepared, Gaston's theme,
Yeah.
and,
I would totally sing Gaston's theme.
and Poor Unfortunate Souls because I love that one too.
I'm kind of going for the Gaston.
Gaston. Man, it's so hard because I love Be Prepared so much, but
We're gonna get scarred if we choose it.
I don't think they'd weigh it like that, especially if that's there.
But I guess that would be a crowd pleaser at karaoke. That's a little bit more of a fun. Let's go with Gaston. I'll go with it.
Gaston.
I'm torn, but let's go with Gaston.
No one sings karaoke like Gaston.
Pick the grub you would most like to munch on. shield bug, ant, dragonfly, worms, grasshopper, and ladybug. I know.
Are there any grubs in there? Like, actually, because larvae would be like poppy and juicy.
Well, the worms they got are more like the larva.
Yeah.
But I know grasshoppers are actually a bit of a delicacy.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't call them a delicacy, but like they're entirely edible.
Yeah, I mean, technically most insects are.
I'm just thinking about eating, like,
But
you know,
in terms of taste, I heard that they're one of the best.
I don't know if you could
I'm-
grill a maggot, you know, you get popped, fat, you get nice seasoning on there, like pop in your mouth. That's probably pretty good.
Ugh, that's just making me sick. Look.
I'm torn between worms and grasshoppers because worms, I mean, it's gross, but they seem kind of fleshy, and it seems like you get nutrition.
Yeah, and these are the grub type of worms.
Okay,
like
yeah.
the wood maggot kind of thing.
That's what I mean. Nice
and-
little maggots.
I don't know if you guys remember the movie that well, but did anyone else as a kid watching The Lion King think that the bugs actually looked very delicious?
They did.
They look like gummy worms and stuff.
Yeah,
I don't
they
know,
did.
It's weird.
Well, one of our dark secrets, or not dark secrets, but old things that we did was we were told by our dad that in a survival situation you can't eat bugs. And so one time we were out on our property, and so we ate like June bugs.
Oh yeah. Oh, I totally. Ew, I forgot about that. I'm talking about the worst kind of bug to eat.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I think we should go with
We
grasshoppers.
Yeah, let's go with
experimented.
grasshopper.
Let's do grasshoppers.
You can cook it up.
There's a lot more recipes with them, probably.
Yeah.
Which adjective would your closest friends use to describe you? Adventurous, creative, funny, determined, loyal, and intelligent.
Which one collectively represents us the best?
Yeah.
Funny?
Would it be funny?
Would we?
I know it feels weird to call yourself funny, but
I mean, it does.
I
but
know.
We're also doing a comedy podcast,
yeah.
so I hope we.
So I guess we are. I hope, anyways.
Yeah.
Let's go with that. And,
I hate when
funny.
people call themselves. I'm a funny guy. Like, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. We'll see.
Great, it's one of these. Which character from the original film would you most like to have as your partner in crime? Shinzi, Timon, Nala, Pumbaa, Zazu, and Rafiki. Shinzi, that's...
Zazu wouldn't be fun at all.
That's the female hyena.
yes.
Right?
This is good because I forgot her name this entire time, and I was and I didn't want to say anything. It's like,
Zazu is boring.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wouldn't be a good partner in crime. He'd be telling you not to do crime.
and then he tattle on you.
I feel like Timon, because he's intelligent and he's witty,
All
and
right.
he's going to go along with it probably.
I can go with Timon.
I think we're getting Pumbaa.
We probably are.
When someone you love is in trouble, you hurry in to help them, assess the situation first, call someone else for help, run away, wait for them to ask you for help, love, who, what, buy.
Love? Who, what?
Yeah, like let's see. I was waiting for Dance the Hula to distract them.
Yeah.
That never came up. Disappointed. BuzzFeed, you failed.
Would we assess the situation before running in? I don't know if...
I guess I would.
get someone else to help. I don't know.
I don't get the point of wait for them to ask you for help.
Yeah.
It's like they're about to die,
Yeah.
and you won't do anything until they
Well,
ask you for help.
that seems to be the modus operandi of most of these characters in this film.
Yeah. Although we don't know like what kind of trouble. We don't know if it's life or death or if it's just, kind of a personal predicament or...
Yeah, I would say assess the situation first.
Yeah, I guess that's the most...
We are more cautious.
It's the most logical one to choose,
Yeah.
Captain.
Which of the following locations would you like to go on vacation? A beautiful lake, an open range, a buzzing city, an African safari, a mountain view, or a babbling brook?
I would love a mountain
A
view.
vacation at a brook.
I guess if you like fishing or fly fishing.
I guess it's true. I know when you say brook, I think of something way smaller.
I think of a skeleton.
I would
Yeah.
say a vacation is away from a city most of the time. But,
Yeah, although I wouldn't mind like going to like New York or something.
or I guess, like Japan and Tokyo and things
Yeah.
like that.
I would
guess
love
so.
a mountain view, but I'll do what the majority wants.
I'm okay with the mountain view. We
Didn't we do mountain like last time? Or did- on
That was the only good choice.
there's always an open range.
open range, like
uh,
a ranch.
I guess so. We kind of lived on a ranch, not a really big
Oh,
one.
Home
it wasn't
on the
a ranch.
Here-
It was
Well,
just in
we
the
called it a
country.
ranch.
Yeah.
Hey, Home on the Range live action
Yeah.
remake. Everyone loved that
We
movie.
really brought
I
that
actually
up one
tweeted
time.
that up. Tweeted
Yeah.
that as a joke.
Oh
You guys don't want to go on an African safari?
no,
I mean, kind of yes and no, because I feel like it would be cool,
But then we have to go to Africa.
yeah, I don't want to spend a long time in Africa. No offense.
We could just go to a babbling brook.
I would say the same thing about Australia.
I don't know. I mean, I would like to go to a big city, but that's just me. What do you guys think?
Let's do big city.
Sure, we'll go to a city. Which quote
Warsaw.
from the original film speaks to you the most? Hakuna Matata? Remember who you are? I laugh in the face of danger? Oh yes, the past can hurt. I'm surrounded by idiots. We are all connected. Well, I think the choice is
I
obvious.
gotta go with my boy Scar.
Well, you see, all those quotes speak to you because they're quotes.
I think we're going to go with I'm surrounded by idiots.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm not a cynical person, not at all.
And it's very appropriate for this room.
Mm-hmm. Each of us independently thinks that.
And when everyone's idiot, no one is.
Yeah.
And finally, for no particular reason at all, pick a Beyounce music video.
Oh.
They spell it correctly, but it's a joke.
I don't know enough of...
Crazy in Love, Partition, Single Ladies, put a ring on it. Formation, Drunken Love, Run the World, parentheses, Girl.
She's the one who's saying put a ring on it.
You should have put a ring on
I
it.
hate her 50 times more now. I didn't know who that was.
I guess all the single ladies, all the single ladies.
I like all the
That's
single
literally
furries better.
the only one I can think of that I've listened to, and
Yeah.
it's mostly inadvertently.
And that one's kind of fun. And it's fun to do like a parodic dance to it. So, yeah, let's go with single ladies.
All right.
And I relate to it so much as a single lady.
I'm a single mother and I relate to
Well,
it too.
guess what we got?
Pumbaa?
No, we got Scar.
Oh my goodness.
Yes!
You're determined to succeed and will let absolutely nothing and no one get in your way. Also, you're like really bad A.
Why do I feel like Single Ladies is a good song for Scar for some reason?
I don't know.
For all I know, he's a bachelor all his life, so I guess he...
So, I wonder which of those answers was Scar oriented, except for I'm surrounded by idiots.
That was it.
That's it. That one quote.
That one thing pushed us.
we could check to see if that one quote actually pushed
No,
us.
it destroys the magic.
Yeah.
We got
Was
Scar.
it Single Ladies and I'm surrounded by idiots? I mean, I have no clue like which
I don't
one
know.
correlates.
Maybe Scar likes the city.
Yeah, but why would he like the city?
You think he liked an Africa safari?
Well, you
Well,
think
all
any
of
of the
them
characters would. I don't know how they gauge it. Okay, I'm fine with that result.
It's funny how he
You
likes
like
to
Scar?
As a kid, I was sad when Scar died. That's how messed up
I was I said earlier, not supposed to identify with him. Billy didn't get the message.
Yeah.
Well, he's cool. Like we always
Yeah.
identify with the villain if they're cool, if they're if they're cool. That's really the only.
Well, they're
quantify most of the
interesting.
time. Interesting, yeah.
And villains are usually the only active characters.
Well,
they
that's
have a
what-
plan.
That's why they're called the antagonists.
Yeah, but protagonists are often just reactive. That's why they're less interesting.
Yeah.
Why do people love the Joker so much? He's very active.
He lives an active lifestyle. He
Yeah,
gets out and he jogs.
don't tell people on Twitter that I like Scar, because now relating or liking villains is considered a red flag, and
Is
you're
it?
evil if you do. Yeah, there's this whole like discourse, like I've seen things where like if you like a villain doesn't mean you commiserate with them or condone what they do. It's like now we're having to like say that. Obviously, it's fiction. You just want interesting people doing interesting
I
things.
believe that. That's why I like them. No.
Yeah. That's why I relate with it so much. I
That
believe
reminds me,
it.
didn't Disney put up a poll? It's like, what's your side? First order of resistance, and everyone who chose first order, they're like, wow, 34% of people are actual Nazis. It's like, come on, guys.
All right, so I forgot we have to actually
Review this.
review this
yes.
film.
Seeing a lot of cons there.
Yes, quite a bit. Okay, and as always, we'll start with the cons. Voice acting versus the lip syncing. There's kind of an emotional disconnect. That was one of the
Yes.
first major things. There's no Be Prepared, no hula dance, and there's no Rafiki scene.
In
at least
general,
him
a
hitting
lot
him.
of the songs are nerfed, I would say.
Yeah.
At a minimum.
They nerfed song and buffed weird CGI faces.
Yeah, buff visuals, but
Yeah.
I don't even know if you could say they buffed it. It's just they changed the visuals. And it kind of along that lines, the emotional content is either off or muted. They missed out on the Lion Queen idea, which Disney called me. Although you may not after certain comments that were made on this podcast. But hey, we don't dislike Disney.
Yeah.
I want to be emphatic about that. They messed up and they got Beyounce instead of Beyonce,
Yeah.
which is why the songs may have suffered some in quality. 1994 would be disappointed.
That year.
The whole year.
Can we put? I realize we don't have an episode MVP. Can we put King Giraffe in there?
Well, he's a pro too, but hey, let's put him in the VIP. It'd be good to garner his good graces, kind of like Peter Rabbit.
You go up and kiss the ring, or you kiss his hoof.
Yes. And then, oh yeah, and kind of like with Beyounce, they hired people who can't sing. And they got Weedle and Rogaine and Beyounce. So,
a cast of motley individuals there.
And lions can't live off of bugs, which it just throws the whole thing, you know.
I lose my suspension of disbelief.
Yeah, it's just, you know, once you realize that, it's just like the movie's ruined. And not to mention the glaring plot holes that were in this one. Apparently, everyone in Simba's life is duplicitous and two-faced, so
yes,
which is kind of tragic.
They're very opportunistic. I like to see what happens before declaring. They're very fair weather.
Yeah. All right, now on to the pros. There's only two. Apparently, it puts you in the movie. I'm not sure to what capacity.
It puts you in the realistic movie.
Yeah, realistic movie. And the pro, obviously, the Giraffe King, the king of pros currently. Also, there was a pro con. They released two versions to avoid kind of having merch diversification problems. So if you saw the version that was really bad, you want to watch the original and buy that. And if you saw the good one, you want to buy that one.
They ran a psychological profile on you. They're like, send to that one, send to that one.
Yeah. So it just shows how brilliant Disney is at marketing.
Yes.
The thing is like 4D chess here. All right. And with all that in mind, we have to rate this one.
Yes, I think...
You're all aware that we hate it.
Yeah.
With all the cons involved and how much it suffered, I think we have to give it a 9.8 out of 10. No.
9.8.
I like King Giraffe. The fact
that is the one redeeming thing.
I think we need to give it a high score just to placate him.
Well,
I don't want to do that because it gets tacked onto the movie as a result.
The thing is,
as much as I love the Giraffe,
can we rate King Giraffe separately from the movie?
Well,
sure. I mean, 100%.
King Giraffe,
maybe 200%.
All right, is like more apathetic than anything else. As long as you don't try to attack him and his pride, you know, he's not really going to do much to you.
That is true. If we don't vie for his position, he's not going to care. But still, you don't want to, make royalty angry. It's always good to be on their good side. So I was thinking, without the King Giraffe, I would just give it a flat-out 0 because they got rid of Be Prepared in its good form.
Well, I think we have to give at least a number, so 1%?
Yeah, but I'm saying for King Giraffe, I'm thinking of throwing it a 10%.
Okay, that's fair.
Because I don't know how integral he is. I know he shows up. He gets summoned by Rafiki after he poops out the lion hair and it gets mixed up with his, essence and musk. And I know he shows up at the end, but I don't know how much screen time he has. So at least 10% I think is fair.
Yeah, simply for King Giraffe, 10%.
Without King Giraffe, flat 0.
I'd say he's 10% of the movie because he kind of comes in a little bit near the ending act.
Yeah, okay, so I think that's fair.
I will say this. I don't like Beyonce a lot. However, I'm a huge fan of her sister Beyounce.
Beyounce.
I love Beyounce. She's my favorite. I think she gets a lot of flack. I mean, I know her singing maybe not all that good, but she has a lot of heart. She isn't so corrupted by Hollywood and the record companies and all other generic evil people there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a 26% just for her. And that is the age she claims she is.
Claims, yeah. Because I think Beyounce is more experimental. She's like a Bjork or a St. Vincent. She's not a mainstream pop artist.
Right. So I was thinking, debating between 20 and 15. I think I'm going to go with the 15%. I like King Giraffe. Beyounce is okay.
Yeah.
Rogaine, he's fine.
Yeah, she's hit or miss. Sometimes she rubs me wrong. Sometimes
I kind of miss Irons. Jeremy Irons.
Yeah, that's just add him to Be Prepared for me. Without Irons, what's the
just have Jeremy Irons out in Savannah. Maybe a cameo with Scar.
Yeah, just standing there. It's just this elderly British man. Hey, I'd be fine with it. And you could have a little subplot where like a human has kind of spoiled everything.
Like Ferngully.
Yeah, humans destroy the environment.
We
so-
need a live-action Ferngully.
There we go. Yeah.
All right, it got a collective out of all of us 17%.
17. Okay, I think that's
That's
more than fair.
That's the other age Beyonce claims to be.
Beyonce, she has some issues.
She does.
She's clearly in her 40s, but she won't admit it.
I wouldn't be that generous.
She's the older sister, apparently. Huh?
Yeah.
All right, so on Rotten Tomatoes, The Lion King 2019 got a 52% from critics and an 88% from audiences. So the critics win. So I got to give it to the critics. They weren't bedazzled by Disney magic. They actually...
Surprisingly, since Disney has a history.
Yeah, yeah. They weren't bribed into giving it a good score or, coaxed.
And I do like more. I like that we align with the critics more than the audience, because the audience, they don't deserve anything. We've decided on this movie.
The more I do this,
in fact, should we put the audience in the box of shame on this one?
Yeah, just for
the degenerates.
Just for saying, just kind of for voting for their wallet and saying, yes, we want more, cynical, soulless cash grabs
and
like
their
this.
scores.
And we put critics in with the VIPs, right?
Well, yeah, they go there.
Yeah.
I mean, I still think they're rated a little bit too highly, but I can kind of understand.
It's
why.
at least it shows up with a big green splotch.
Yeah. And I don't know, I feel like the longer I'm a movie fan and the longer I do this podcast, the more disdain I have for general movie-going audiences. I feel like Mike Stacklasa from Red Letter Media.
Well, Billy, that's fair.
I feel like it's very
Because all's fair in love and war.
Yes.
And remember, that was the quote we chose, that we're surrounded by idiots.
Yeah. True. No wonder I related so much with Scar. Okay, well, this has been another very interesting episode of Much Review About Nothing. We thank you for listening, and all our kind of information I'm going to put in the description. And if you'd be so kind, it'd be great if you could contribute to our Patreon. It would help us to do this more and spend more time on editing. Right now we're kind of on a bi-monthly schedule. I don't know how long that's going to go. But yeah, email us if you have questions or movie suggestions, or follow us on Twitter. And I guess we will call it there.
Yep. All right.
Oh, remember, reviews change lives.
Yes,
I forgot to say that.
And this movie did not slap any lemons.
Nope, no lemons or limes.
It didn't slap.
Wasn't there another, saying we debated using?
I can't remember.
The winning movie ever? Was that it?
It was not a winning movie ever.
No, I can't remember the context. In fact, I would say this movie, it looked a little junky.
Yeah.
And we had to cut it down to size. Hey, that one could actually work. I don't know why we didn't think of fitting that one in. But I guess we will see you next time. We won't see you, but
You'll hear us
you'll be able to listen to us next time. I've been Billy Greer.
And I've been Jake Greer. And
I've been Luke Greer, I guess.
Bye.